Deary me. The Wolves players down the bottom end. Everton won, Wolverhampton Wanderers won. The Wolves fans down the bottom end celebrating. They've got 7 points. They'll get relegated this season. A very poor team. Yet they come away from Bramley-Moore Stadium like Aston Villa did, like West Ham did, like Arsenal did, like Brentford did, like Newcastle did, like Spurs did. This place is a place of doom. Beautiful stadium. There's no atmosphere here. And the fans are fed up. We haven't got many players fit. We've ended up on the pitch with 9 players. We didn't get a grip of anything here. The truth be told, we never looked like scoring a goal. We were extremely poor in possession. We were very flat. Never really looked like doing anything in the game. Defensively, we were a little bit better. We had the extra man in midfield. We weren't as open. They weren't as able to get at our defence as fast. But it was still completely inexplicable. When we went to 9 men, I'll be honest, I didn't think we were going to lose because we were playing against a very poor team. We were going to just do everything we can. We did well to hold on for those 9 minutes, but starting to move up the ground now. Yeah. Steve, David, and Mabsy are here with me. Everyone's feeling extremely flat and deflated. It looked like Michael Keane pulled his hair. It was the Michael Keane show. He's your greatest asset, and he's also your biggest enigma, isn't he, really? I'm just going to see if I can get some of the other boys to come and join me, because there will be a point where I exit the ground and the signal does go. So bear with me a moment. Got a comment there. That was crap management from Moyes. I mean, I don't really know what else you can do, Barry. I'd be intrigued to know what you think that we could do. I'm just gutted, really, for the fans. The ones that did come out tonight, there were so many empty seats. They didn't even put the attendance out because there was probably maybe 5,000 short of capacity. And that's all on Everton as well. They make it really difficult to pass your seat on. Everyone has to have a membership. And I think the prioritising money over actually the fan experience. But yeah, the fans that did come out in the absolute freezing cold have been treated to a terrible performance. We did get the goal. Dwight McNeil crossed it into the box, and Timur Abunam has the shot, which Keane wonderfully deflects in, wonderfully finishes into the net. But the reality is we didn't create a fucking bean all game. It's so flat coming out of Bramley-Moore Stadium. To people's faces, people's reactions. Just can't fucking believe it. It's just to come back here 3 days later and just not have a simple, straightforward. It could have been so simple. We were 1-0 up. We weren't creating anything, but just leaving now, coming through the turnstile in the lower south. There's a little bottlenecks as you come through here. They pen you through this very small exit. So I'm just getting through. I don't know what people think about the 2 red cards. We were down the other end when we saw the Keane one. We were in disbelief. It was innocuous. Nobody was complaining for the red card. It's these little horrible sort of VARs who want to interfere because maybe they're getting marked and they're getting checked. But to me, it looked like he was just jumping for the ball. I'm bringing Corey in. Thank you so much, Corey. Corey, mate, this is just... It's on another level of
Shit,
bonkers. Yeah, the
mate.
performance was dropped.
I'm gonna swear straight away,
It,
but that was piss poor fucking shite all round. And do you know what? Players were shite. But you know, more than anything, it's on the fucking manager again. That's two games in the space of a couple of days. Two games which should have been wins. I said to Stevie on the preview for Brentford, I'd accept nothing less than 2 wins and to go through in the cup. That's 5 points dropped. 5 points dropped this week from absolute piss poor to setting the team up and piss poor in-game management. And today was even worse. I'm not Moyes out, by the way. I'm just going to put it there. I'm not there to be sensationalist, but I was sat there through the whole game, seething. I was foaming at the mouth. How the fuck did it get to 80 odd minutes with no substitution? If we didn't get that red card on Keane, he was only going to do better, and that was it.
yeah. Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you clearly, lad. I can hear you clearly.
Yeah. When my signal goes, because there's a bit of a weird area around here, you just keep talking. But I agree. No, Bato should have come on for a lot earlier. I don't know what the plan was to try and get Barry involved in the game, but most of the game, he's the only one in the box. McNeil's not getting in the box. None of the midfielders are getting in the box.
Neil wasn't doing anything.
It was like they were.
I have never. Now, Mikalenko usually makes me angry when I watch him play football. I like him as a person, but watching him, I get angry. But oh my god, the watching McNeil tonight, I've never been so angry, so frustrated watching a footballer play football. He played on the right hand side. I don't know why he played on the right hand side because he does not help on the right hand side. And we had not how many times in that game was O'Brien in the centre midfield position, and McNeil was over on the left hand side.
Fucking
There was no right hand
unbearable.
side. The left played all right. There was some good play between Eric Boonham, Armstrong, Grealish, but absolutely nothing on the right hand side. It was absolutely disgusting, and the fact that McNeil stayed on the pitch, even more disgusting. Oh, I felt sick. It was that bad every time. Yeah, Cash, I get what you mean. He's been pushed around, but he's not good enough. Diblin should have played. I said this at the start. Diblin should have played this game. He's much better on the right. He's a better footballer. He brings other players in, and yet he decides to not even bring him on at all. Wouldn't even bring him on at all. It is absolutely piss poor. UG, mate. Do you know what, mate? 3 or 4s all around. Tim would have got a 6 or 7, to be honest. Harrison, 6 or 7. Grealish, maybe a 5 or a 6 before that red card. But apart from that, everyone else, Povo. Absolutely Povo. And I say that I'm not taking the mick out of anyone who's not got money because I am Povo. But oh my days, it was atrocious. Michael Keane and Mikalenko making mistakes in the first 15, 20 minutes. Michael Keane, absolutely terrible again. Yes, he got the goal, fantastic finish, but apart from that, he was terrible. I don't want any arguments about that red card. The red card that he got for pulling his ear, it's understandable if it's accidental. He's accidentally tried to grab his shirt or what, and he's just to reach out, but he's pulled his ear back. It's a fault. It's assault in the real world. I don't care if people say it's a silly red card. It's a silly red card. It's a silly red card for Michael Keane to give away. Grealish, I've got a bit more leeway for because he's just frustrated, and I think just clapping at the referee is a bit silly. I think he lost his head, the referee, at the end of that bit, but still, the football performance, Michael Keane, James Tarkowski, garbage, all of them garbage. I don't think O'Brien was absolutely terrible, but again, there was no right hand side because he was playing in the central midfield. The amount of times he picked that ball up in the central midfield position, McNeil was nowhere to be seen. We had no right hand side. The guys, I don't know if anyone's going to join me yet. I know Jan is waiting to come on, but we've lost Ryan as well. So keep the comments coming in. Hopefully, someone can calm me down because I am absolutely fuming with that performance tonight. I said to the boys when I seen the lineup, I said that right hand side is absolutely disgusting. The fact that there isn't even a right hand side, we've given up 33% of the game there because we've not had the right hand side, which meant that all the other team had to do was double up on the left hand side. No matter what we did, they just doubled up on that side and we couldn't get the ball through. So what is the absolute point? We've dropped 5 points this week. There should have been 2 easy wins in terms of relative to the Premier League. Brentford, first win away from home all season. We should have been able to control the game against them, but the lineup was poor. We were too negative, and we didn't do anything to change the game when we were clearly struggling in the central midfield. Instead, he went 4-4-2. This game, again, 2 points dropped. Poor Wolves team. I know a lot of people were saying that, well, they're in a good bit of form, and they are. But you know what? We were poor that first half as well, but they still weren't doing anything to do with it. So all we need to do was go up a tiny bit of gear and not be woeful. Just change things. Don't let them just know that we can just go through the midfield or on one side, because Everton only have a left-hand side. It is absolutely garbage. The Toffee man, I agree, mate. Look, I get that it's a red card. I'm not going to argue that is a red card. But I've got a little bit more sympathy for him because he's frustrated. Probably more frustrated with the manager and his own team than the referee. How are we, Wes? Fuming?
Oh, mate. Like, beyond fuming, I think.
Mate.
Like, how McNeil's staying on that pitch for that length of time, I do not know. I really do not know. Like, massive gap for their goal. Massive. Like, you could have got a super tanker down the middle of that pitch.
Yeah.
The space that was left there. Great save by Pickford, kept us in it.
Yeah. Do you know what, mate? I agree, fuming. I've been foaming at the mouth like Cujo. That's how angry I've been at that. This lineup, I don't know why. I knew he was going to do that lineup. However, I was still angry when I seen it. But benefit of the doubt, see how the game goes. The fact that there was no substitution till 80 odd minutes till after the red card, it's baffling. Like, what was Moyes thinking? Is he talking about when everyone's absolutely knackered? We'll bring some fresh legs on.
Yeah. And, they kept saying it in the commentary that, the squad's paper thin. And, they've played like 3 games in like the space of about 10 days or something. So, the fresh legs are required, aren't they? 65 minutes into the game, make a change. Alison Armstrong, I thought he done brilliant, but he was 100% running out of steam, like after about 60 minutes.
Yeah.
He's not built physically yet to be able to cope with the demands of the Premier League. He'll get there because he's got the talent to do it. But there were some players there just running on empty.
Yeah, 100%, and that's part of the reason why they got that goal in the central midfield. He was absolutely knackered. The lad was running ragged the whole way. He was putting in more yards than anyone else. Eric Boonham was putting leggy runs in, and they were both knackered. They were both gassed. Merlin Rowe should have come on for Harrison Armstrong much earlier, and because we had absolutely no right-hand side and he'd done absolutely nothing, Diblin should have come on for McNeil.
Yeah.
Round about 50, 60 minutes.
The thing is, as well, is that they were so much in control of that game. I think they got complacent, and then obviously the goal happened.
Yeah.
And then it was just like they didn't know how to react to that.
I mean, and the thing is, the first half we weren't even great. We were crap in the first half, but Wolves were just extra crap. So it's not even a case of they've come and made life difficult for us, and they've gone with that positivity which we were all worried about. They've been poor, and we've just allowed them to get back into it by doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose as far as I'm aware, the good thing that's come out of it is that McGreedy will still be able to play on Saturday against Sunderland, whereas I don't think Michael Keane will, because I just read the rules, and if you get sent off in the Premier League game for violent conduct, it goes across all competitions. So, but the last 2 games he hasn't been great anyway. So maybe it's Jake O'Brien going the centre half. He hasn't been terrible, has he? I think he's been all right when Keane was out injured, ill or whatever he was the other day. Jake O'Brien's done all right to centre half. So, and Sunderland just been absolutely tongue tonight. So, hopefully, they'll sort of, after the last 2 performances, okay, we down to 9 men and we hung on for a point really, but the performances have not been great.
Yeah, mate, I agree. I think he was poor in the last game. We should have stuck with the settled back 4 of O'Brien, Tarkowski, then that centre back pairing, stuck with that. Look, I understand Patterson might not be able to play more games, then play Merlin Rowe at right back. I I just don't understand why he decided to keep going with Michael Keane. And apart from the goal that Michael Keane scored, fantastic goal. He was poor all game. He was shaky. He made mistakes. I think, like you said there, hopefully it's a blessing in disguise that he's not going to play. O'Brien and Tarkowski come in, miss 3 games, and then when he comes back, he's nowhere to be seen because them two are having a strong partnership.
Yeah,
we just need a right back now.
I think ultimately, you're possibly being a bit harsh on Keane because I think he's been great for most of the season. I think it's just been the last couple of games, that he sort of like let the standard slip. But maybe that's, he has been ill or whatever, and he's playing through sickness or whatever. You don't know, but I don't know what he's thinking for that air pull. I really don't.
Should you think it's a red then?
100% it was
Yeah.
a red.
Yeah, 100%. I just want to say, it's not. I don't want to be too harsh on Keane. I personally thought he's been our best defender so far this season, but I just think it's getting more and more now where we need to have the settled defence. We have the better chemistry with O'Brien and Tarkowski, and we just need to phase him out. He's been great. He's been brilliant while he's been in, but we want to play higher up. And he's been poor. He's been caught out a few times now. And I just want to see us we need to move away from that. He's been great, but we need to move away from that. Same with O'Brien being great at right back. We need to move away from that. And this is the perfect chance. How are we, Jan?
All right, Jan.
I could always go in the Denby. Oh, hello. Oh, shit, I'm on. That was fucking awful, wasn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Apart from the little glimpse of you on the telly.
Hello.
Is he? How far behind is he? Is he still watching us with 10 men?
Me? Oh. What, am I delayed?
Yeah, a little bit, mate. Just a little bit.
I think you're catching up now. I mean, you are from over the water. Mind you, so tall. I was going to say, so are you.
It's the Wes and Plazzy show tonight. I think we've lost Jan again. I think he's been. There we go. Yeah, we've lost him.
Okay.
So mate, let's run it back. So first half, we end up 1-0. We've not been great. Second half, we come out. We're not doing much. Neither's Wolves. And then obviously that ball goes through, and they get the goal. Let's just say Moyes is being reactive as opposed to proactive. He should have really been making substitutions way before that goal. But after that goal goes in, what do you do? What do you do with that team to change it, which Moyes should have done?
Well, he didn't do anything, did he?
No.
Like there was options on the bench. Alcaraz was on the bench. I don't know whether he's had a sickness bug or whatever. Obviously Beto's on the bench. He left it far too late to bring him on. He needs to freshen up. As much as Thierry Barry looks like he's having a go, it's pretty much like chasing shadows a lot of the time, and that's not his fault because he's not getting a lot of service.
Yeah, he had one header today, didn't he? And that was it.
Yeah, and he had that run where he run the defender, and then I don't know whether it was a shot come cross come whatever it was.
Clearance.
You know what I mean? But that is that down to him or is it down to the shit service that he's getting?
Yeah, I mean, I think he could be a bit more composed. I think he's just wellied it there. I think he's a striker out wide and he's on his weak foot. You know what I mean? He's probably just not his game. But still, he should be having that support. Harrison Armstrong busted a gut to get in the middle, but there was no one else to support him because I've seen someone here. We're the slowest team in the league, which we are. Yeah. One thing we wanted in the summer was someone fast out wide just to support him. Bring on late just to chase games up, or when you're defending it, have them on the counter attack to make the teams think twice. We didn't do that. That's partly on the recruitment side, but we're just absolutely slow. But again, late on in the game when the players are tired, freshen things up. They don't need to be as good or better. They can be 80% as good. And then we know seeing that against Bournemouth the other year when they were 2-0 down, they done that 3-2 comeback. They just changed loads of players down when they were doing poor. In fact, they made 5 subs in by the hour mark, and it changed the game because although maybe them players weren't as good as the first teamers, they had legs, they had pace, and you've got a whole new energy in that team, and it makes a massive difference.
But do you know what, right? And I'm not defending Michael Keane with the red card, but how can you pulling someone's hair, right? And it was for a millisecond, right? And then like somebody head buttons somebody down in the same category as violent conduct.
Yeah. Well, I guess for me, it's I mean, I can't think for I can't speak for other referees like trying to rationalize it or use his logic for it. But I think for me, the way he's grabbed it, he's not just accidentally grabbed his ear; he's pulled it. Now, I've been in scraps before, and I've been in scraps with fellas with long hair, and I've seen punches thrown, and just on the same level, someone yanking someone's hair. I know the intent probably isn't to assault him or cause damage like a punch would be, but he's still yanking his hair down, you know what I mean? And it's intentional. So I get it. I understand why people think it's a bit soft, which it is, but that for me, that's 100% a red card. He's intentionally pulled his hair. If it was an
Yeah.
accident, if he's not meant to, then I get it. But yeah,
I'm not arguing over the red card. You know, it is what it is. I'm just arguing about the same being put in the same category as headbutting somebody. Do you know what I mean? It's chalk and cheese, and it pulling someone's hair and headbutting somebody is completely different. But yeah, it's still put down in the same category as violent conduct.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is. It was a red card. Jack Grealish's was just petulance. You know what I mean? And you know, he's a seasoned pro. He should know better than that. Like I've seen you before saying you can sort of let it slide a bit with him, but somebody like Tarkovsky should have grabbed him and saying, "Now, look, Jack, chill out. You're gonna get a red card if you don't settle down."
And he'd
And
already had to
that's
go
what
with him a
happened.
minute earlier as well. He'd already go with the ref a minute earlier, hadn't he?
Yeah, and that was over the red card for Michael Keane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And the just want to respond to James Graham there, saying that he thought he might have been grabbing his top. That was my first thought when obviously when I seen it go to VAR and I seen the replay. But after watching it, it's not like he's made a grabbing motion. It's like a reaction grabbing motion. You know what I mean? Like a desperate one. For me, it seems maybe not premeditated, but somewhat calculated in the way he's not just gripped like that. He's pulled his hair down like that. So
he's jumped to head the ball, and he's pulled his hair back so he can get the header in first.
Yeah, that's it. He's trying to be cute about it, and he's and it's just you know what, an absolute baffling display tonight. Like
the players can't. The thing is now, though, Cole, right, is that players can't get away with anything anymore.
Yeah.
Like because the videos there, you know, players need to be a bit more wiser to the situation, and it's everything's recorded, everything's on video, so the slightest little thing's going to be picked up on. Do you know what I mean? And you think the ref clearly never saw that. Do you know what I mean? It was brought to his attention by the player, and then the VAR got involved, and then obviously he was sent to the screen, watched the video back for himself, and the evidence was damning, wasn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. It's not like back in the day, mate. Like when I used to play, when you could get away with pinches or the old little kidney jab on a corner.
Yeah, you can't do it anymore.
Oh,
Little elbow into the ribs.
Man used to be on a corner, reach on the shorts and pull the leg in as the ball comes in. Horrible.
I don't think people had leg hair when you played, mate. Thought they were in primary school.
No, do you know what I mean? I played a little bit after that. I didn't get fat till I was close to 30.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I think in the the whole grand scheme of things, we've done well there to hang on to a point with 9 men, but we shouldn't have never have been in that situation. We should have put them to bed early on. You know what I mean? In the first half, when they were absolutely terrible, when we were just a little bit less terrible, we should have put them to bed and we let them grow into the game second half. Even Leon Osmond said on the totally legal stream that I was watching, that Everton in the past have been slow out the blocks in the second half, and it came again.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I first thought. I thought we need to make sure they don't get an early goalie because that's going to change the tide of things, and then we can grow into it. But we still never grew into it. That's the thing. Like you
No.
said, we didn't put the game to bed, and we didn't, and we just did not grow into that second half at all. And after 55 minutes, maybe 60 minutes, you should know as the manager, Moyes should know as the manager that that's not working, and the tide of the game is turning. And like I said, I'm fuming with a lot of the players because a lot of the players are absolutely poor. Mainly the defence, Dwight McNeil as well. But a lot of it is most of it in my mind is down to David Moyes. And again, I'm reiterating, mate, I'm not Moyes out in no way, shape, or form. But I was so angry and frustrated against Brentford. I felt the exact same when I seen the starting lineup at the end of the game, walking out to the Hill Dickinson Stadium. And today, sat at home, when I've seen the lineup again, I felt the exact same, if not worse. And after the game, I'm just more exacerbated. It's just,
But we've got young kids on the bench there that he's never going to bring on because the squad is so thin.
Yeah,
and you've got the likes of Tyler Dibblin there who could have come on. Even if he'd have played, McNeil for 60 minutes and then brought Dibblin on for half an hour, that would have freshened it up. Bring it back, more of a threat to that right wing. And we all know Dwight McNeil, he's only got a right foot for standing on.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And he's just not the player that he was maybe a couple of seasons ago where, everyone was cheering his name. I think he's down in confidence. His first touch is terrible. Second touch is even worse. But I thought we would have seen more of Dibblin with Njai being out in the AFCON, but we haven't.
And it's not as if he's been worse than McNeil. He hasn't. I think for whatever reason, Moyes is just going with McNeil over Dibblin every single time. And I said this the other day. I said that, is it a case of that what he's seeing with Dibblin in training is nowhere near as good as what he sees with McNeil in training? But at some point, you've got to look at it and go, no matter how good you are in training, if you're not doing it on a match day in the actual scenario, then what's the actual point? Maybe is it a case of, and I could be completely wrong here, you know what I mean? But is it a case of the manager seeing it in training and basing it on that is actually detrimental to what you see in a real life scenario when it actually comes to the crunch? McNeil knows nothing of the crunch.
But like you said earlier on, right, is that, we had Jake O'Brien at centre half when Michael Keane was out, and he's done all right. He's done pretty well. He's never really, when he has come in at centre half, he's never really had a bad game where you can say he's made a mistake or anything like that. And then obviously Keane came back the last game against Brentford and we shipped 4 goals. And then obviously today he wasn't great again, but he was forced into Leeds have just scored 3-2 to Leeds. So what was I saying? So he's put Jake O'Brien in at right back again when Nathan Patterson, he's had a long list of injuries, or whether the manager doesn't like him or anything. You've got a right back and a natural right back sitting on the bench when you've got a makeshift right back.
Yeah,
you're sort of putting square pegs into round holes. It's like McNeil out on the right. It doesn't make sense,
mate. I agree. I think O'Brien has worked at right back, and he's worked when we need to be defensive. And Michael Keane's been good when we do backs against the wall defending. Him and Tarkowski will head balls away all game. They're both. Now, the way I look at it with defenders is you've got 2 types of defenders, and if you play a back 4 with the 2 centre backs, which most teams do, you need to have one of each of these centre backs for it to work. You have a stopper, and you have like a sweeper, a coverer. The stopper's the one who's more old school, no nonsense, great in the air, physical battles. He will step forward and he will head the ball away. He'll clear it away. You've then got the coverer, who's maybe a little bit better on the ball, more modern, maybe drops out wide. When they defend the ball, the coverer will then, when the stopper defends the ball, the cover will then go behind. They've got a bit more pace to defend against it. That's why Tarkowski and Branthwaite have worked so well. Tarkowski is the stopper, Branthwaite is the coverer. When O'Brien comes in for Branthwaite, it's the same. Tarkowski the stopper, Branthwaite, O'Brien the coverer. I feel like Keane is a stopper. He's not got no pace. He's not great on the ball. Yeah, he can do a crossfield, but he's not great on the ball. He can't turn. The man turns like Eddie Stobart truck. And I think that, again, while it maybe not be Michael Keane's fault, but playing Michael Keane and Tarkowski together, who are both stoppers, only works when you're defending and you're playing backs against the wall. When you're trying to be a bit more positive, when you're at home and you're playing teams like Brentford, you need to take the game to them, or Wolves, and by playing the way we have done, we're trying to play a high line. We're letting them attack at us. We're creating indecision and nerves on the back line, which is massive. And then you add into that O'Brien, which is the exact same thing. You've not got your natural right back. Like, Patterson's not great, but he's a natural right back. So maybe when you're playing away from home, O'Brien at right back sound. When you're playing at home, Patterson or Royal should have been that right back, because they're going to naturally push forward a bit more, just to push it a little bit further up the pitch to allow your wingers to cut in. And because we've not done that against Brentford, and because we've not done that against Wolves tonight, we've allowed both of them teams who've been poor and we should have been put onto the sword to grow into the game. And then by not changing it when they've grew into the game, we've then 3 points away.
Yeah, but we've also got like players on the bench that are more progressive players than what we had on the pitch. We had Alcaraz on the bench, and he's a more progressive player.
He wasn't on the bench, I don't think, mate. He was in the stands, but he's still not fit.
Oh, was he not?
Yeah,
I just seen him on with the coat on.
Yeah, I seen that and had a look to see if I've missed anything, but he wasn't named on the squad list or anything like that. I think he was just there as part of his job kind of thing, but he's still not fit.
Right, okay, fair enough. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, you hit the nail on the head. I think it was James Graham saying now, said there's no pace in the team.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, we've got players who run like they're running in custard constantly. You know what I mean? And it's like Jack Grealish gets the ball and he slows the play down in a team that's already slow. Do you know what I mean? And then we try and like pass quickly, and we haven't got the players that are capable of doing it at this moment in time in our squad. You know, when we get the likes of NJ back and KDH and stuff like that, yeah, we might have players who were good at, you know, passing a bit quicker and a bit more accurate with the passing. But at this moment in time, we're sort of like treading water with the players that we've got, trying to struggle on through until the AFCON finishes.
And we become so reliant on Njai because we've got, like you said, we've got no pace. There's nothing direct about us now. We're just relying on Njai to get the ball and drag us forward. But again, there you go, just in time. Danny Ellis there, 80-30. 2 flying fullbacks. We need someone. We need a right back this January. We need a right back.
Being linked with this guy from Monaco, I think, haven't we?
Yeah, Vanison. So, to be honest, he's not the kind. He's not the guy I'd be spending loads of money for, but he's not getting mega game time at AS Monaco. So the only thing I can think of is they're getting him fairly cheap. But But it's a position that we're absolutely desperate for. I don't want us to be getting someone on a deal on a cheap. I want us to be going, this is the one position that we absolutely need. We spent big money on a striker. We spent big money on Diblin and Jai on the left. We've got a midfield that's settled. We've got centre backs. Spend big on a right back. Spend big on a right back. Get someone who is going to be playing in the Champions League in 3 years. It might be with us, probably not, but he will be amazing at it, and then he'll move to a Champions League team. But we don't know. There's a fella at Blackburn as well. I won't go into that at the moment because me and Mabs are going to do a little bit of a transfer special on Monday.
All right, okay.
In regards to that, so we'll go through mainly right back prospects who either we've been linked with or I think that we should take a look at. I'll go for, you know what I mean? But there's loads out there, mate. There's loads out there for less than 30 million. And,
I know.
And if these Americans have got the dough to say they've got.
Yeah. But the thing, I mean, you know, remember the days when we probably had the 2 best fullbacks in the league, in Baines and Seamus, and now we've probably got the 2 worst.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, Michaelenko, again, I want to really say, I like Michaelenko as a person. He just seems like an absolute model citizen. But the lad just tries not to cross. He was making mistakes. His headers, he weren't heading them away, just going straight back into the air, causing more danger. 2 or 3 times he had strikes on the box and they were absolutely woeful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Do you know what though, Cor, right? For me, I think, like, I know he got dragged off against, who was it he got dragged off against? Was it Newcastle? Timur Boonham.
Yeah.
And he was terrible. But I think since then, I think he's got better and better every game that he's played. I think he's sort of like gone under the radar a bit. But I think, like, today, I thought he was tremendous, like getting forward, pushing the team forward. He was doing what James Garner should have been doing.
Yeah.
And I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves, that lad. And I think he will get better and better. But that's if he can stay in the team once Idrissa Gueye comes back.
Yeah. I think when Idrissa Gueye comes back, he comes back in. But the issue with that, again, is when Idrissa Gueye comes back in the team, we play too deep. Garner plays deep, and Idrissa Gueye plays deep. He's not. I like it. I like Idrissa Gueye. I think he's fantastic. You know what I mean? But I think we've actually looked a lot better. That centre midfield has probably looked better. We've looked more progressive since Eric Boonham's come in, and like you said, I think he's been brilliant. He barely put a foot wrong today. You could see he was getting tired towards the.
He was running on empty.
Yeah. But the way he was getting every time he got the ball, he was running, and you know what? He might not be. He's got a bit of. He's not rapid, but he's got a bit of pace. But his strength, and he was just not. He was doing cleverly. He was knocking the ball into space and running into that space, not just like a headless chicken. The only issue I had was when he was running through on goal and he needed to lay it off to Grealish.
He should have passed it, yeah.
Yeah, that's a holding / central midfielder. You know what I mean? You let him have that one. You let him have one mistake there, and he'll learn from that.
Yeah.
It's just I can't even say how fuming I am, mate. I'm absolutely livid with that performance.
Yeah, I think it's probably more based on the fact you've got a team who've only got, now 7 points in the league, and they've been absolutely woeful and getting tonked by everybody week in, week out. Apart from us, we beat them and drew with them, and being beat by them.
Yeah.
This season now, you know what I mean, and they are going to go down without a shadow of a doubt. They're not the 14 points adrift of. Just give a penalty. I think he's just give a penalty here, Newcastle.
Finally announce it. So,
hang on, I'm here. The 650.
The man in the shadows.
I've just seen that. I've just seen I've just seen the red card back. The Michael Keane one. Listen, I think any other player who doesn't have this silly ponytail, he just puts his hand on the guy's back. He probably pulls his shirt. He's just touching his back. I don't think he's going, I'm going to yank your ponytail. I'm sorry, if that's a red card, the game is gone. And Jack Grealish is a bit of a dickhead for that. But I just think the referee should show a little bit of maturity and just say, you know what? If you're ready to do any of that cheek again, I'm going to send you off. And that's it.
He'd already done that like 40 seconds earlier.
Yeah, when he got the yellow.
Yeah,
he got 2 yellows within the space of a minute.
He got 2 yellows in the space of a minute, and within that space of a minute, he'd already had a go at the referee again. I said to Wes, I've got sympathy for him more because of the frustration of it all.
He should know better. He should know better than that.
But it's a red card. It's a silly red card. It's stupid. He'll realise to himself, take his licks, and that's it. And I got to say, mate, I disagree about the Keane one. I do agree that if he doesn't have a ponytail, he doesn't do it. But it doesn't matter. He's intentionally pulled his.
Come on.
Like,
mate, you actually think that?
Yeah.
Like I said to Corey, right? Michael Keane has pulled his hair, jumping to head the ball to stop that lad from heading the ball, so he can get the header in first. That's what he did.
I think would just naturally put his arm. I think if you watch Michael Keane, the way he jumps, he puts his arm on the back of the defender. It's it's the attacker. It's what you do. You feel for the contact. I think his ponytail just happens to be there. I don't know. I don't think he could be that brain dead. Surely, I mean, I'm giving
It's
him the
Michael Keane
benefit
we're
of the
talking
doubt.
about.
I just is it
I
violent
don't know.
conduct? Even so, is it violent conduct? Come on.
I
No,
think so. Yeah.
that's what I've just said to Corey. If you put in a headbutt and a hair pull in the same category as a violent conduct, that to me doesn't make sense. But I still think it was a red card. You can't go and
Violent
doing that.
conduct to me. Violent conduct to me. Violent conduct to me is you punch him in the face, you claw him, you bite him, you scratch him, you strangle him with your neck. It's none of this. It was never any of this stupid rubbish woke
Right.
crap. I'm not going to
Let
go the
me.
football if you're going to have refs.
Yeah, but they're the rules.
Go on.
They're the
Wait,
rules, right?
yeah, let me put it in a scenario for you, mate. Right, I'll say it to Wes before. Right, I've been in scraps. I know I look far too nice for someone to want to fight me, but I've been in scraps a few times in my life. I'm that much of a knobhead, right? So, and I've been in scraps where I've seen someone get punched. I've seen someone get elbowed, just desperately get elbowed. I've seen someone get their hair pulled in a scrap, like fellas along here, get their hair yanked. And do you know what? When you're in that situation, it's the same. Yanking someone's hair and throwing an elbow in just to get just reactionary. It's a scrap. It's assault. It's a fight. And you know what? If you were to go up and elbow him in the face, maybe not look at him completely intentionally and elbow him, but he stuck his elbows out and got him, that would have been violent conduct. That would have been a red card. And for me, it's the same thing. And honestly, I don't know if you've seen the replay, mate, but if you look at the way he grabs his hair, it's not like you've said there. He's gone up and he desperately grabbed for something. You can see he's got his hand on the braids and he's pulled it. And like Wes said, he's not doing it to cause damage to the fella. He's doing it to think, if I pull this guy's hair a little bit,
I think he thinks. I think he thinks it's a shirt. I think he thinks it's a shirt,
Look at the way
and
he
I think
grabs
it's
it, mate.
happened really quick.
He's pulled it down like he's turning a lamp on.
Yeah. He's doing this to gain an advantage, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That's what he's done. He's done this to gain an advantage.
And while it's not like aggressive behaviour, he's still pulling someone's hair. And if you're to throw an elbow in wide like that just to get the advantage, you're going to get a red card for violent conduct, because it's within the same kind of thing. Yeah, it's not violent conduct like you've clobbered someone or like you said, you threw the head in, but it's still violent conduct. It's still within that parameter. For me, it's a red card. It was stupid, and it was a red card.
I think within the parameters and the rules of the game, it is.
I'd like to see the referee show a little bit more maturity. But listen, if you this is football, you can disagree. I also think at that point we didn't deserve anything. I mean, we didn't create as much as we didn't create anything. You know, we were absolutely turgid. We had one set piece where we scored from it. Dwight McNeil plays a long ball into the back post. It's the second ball. Imre Boonen fluffs his shot, and Keane, with a great finish, reacts. But it didn't create anything. I mean, how can you expect the striker to score when you're not giving him anything? And there was no one going in the box. So it was like four Wolves players in the box and one Everton striker just isolated. It's like, and that's all on Moyes, that. And he's like, because of Brentford, he's tried to go the complete opposite and gone really safe. But in the moments when we've had possession, I mean, does he just not trust these players?
I think so. Look, Moyes has always been defensive. It was more towards the latter stages of his career, once he'd built that squad up within his image, that he went more positive with the likes of Baines and Coleman. We're just suffering from that, because I remember when Moyes first started, we had these exact same issues where the fullbacks would barely go forward. So I remember that. So I think it's just very much his mindset in general. But yeah, he doesn't, until he gets the players that he wants, he builds that squad, which will take time, time that Moyes doesn't have. That is definitely the case, mate. He's always been more negative, more pragmatic. Certainly much better than Sean Dyche, by the way. But he's always been pragmatic. He's always been quite negative. He's always been defence first, and we're just seeing that. And I think that's what fans are frustrated for, because it's more frustrating that you can see what needs to be done and he doesn't do it.
How does he deal with this then in the dressing room? Like, when he's just lost two players to a red card. There was the Garner incident at Old Trafford. We've dropped points away at Burnley, who are going to get relegated. We've dropped points at Leeds, maybe not in the same category, but we dropped points at home to Brentford. We dropped points at home to Wolves. We dropped points at home to West Ham. Are we going to say that David Moyes is not actually doing as good of a job, or he's doing the absolute bare minimum, but he's not exactly excelling.
I think he's
What
muddling
are we
on through with
saying?
what he's got. I think he's muddling on through with what he's got available to him at this present moment on time. You know, he hasn't got a strong squad that he can put out week in, week out, and he's trying to pick up points. Like, ultimately, we can sit here and say we got absolutely tongued by Brentford, and we got a point against probably the worst team in the league this season. But he hasn't got a team that he's able to compete at the moment. Once you get the likes of KDH back, once you get NJ back, once you get Garner Gay back, you might see a different type of football.
They didn't win the first. I don't know who got played Forest.
See, I do agree a little bit there, but I think that's more because he's been a little bit reliant. What I would say, just to answer your question, right, I think he's doing a decent job, much better than what we've done previously, and that midfield of the pack is still very much tight. But the players,
Sorry, Ollie. Wolves are not good. Wolves are not good. Sorry,
no,
I know you're trying to bait me. Wolves is Ollie.
no,
Ollie
I'm
Roberts is saying Wolves are not good. They were terrible. We had 9 men and we still got a point. It's just we are crap.
Only
Yeah,
because of Pickford. We only got a point because of Pickford.
Well, he only made 1 save, didn't he? At the end, the
Yeah, but
world
it was a
class
world
one.
class save. That's
It was,
stopped
yeah,
them
it
being
was.
beat. And
It
we would
was.
have got beat if it wasn't for that save. So,
and I know a lot of people say it's on the recruiting, which look, there could have been better recruiting. We needed more players. We should have patched this squad up in the summer with loans. The fact that I think a lot of it maybe isn't down to the recruitment team as a whole, but on the fact that we got a whole new recruitment team in just before we've done the actual recruitment of a whole new squad as well. But with that being said, yeah, we've got a threadbare squad, but a lot of the mistakes that we've made, you don't need to have that massive squad to make them small changes. Like me and Wes said, when you play at home, you play right, you play fullbacks at fullback, you play positive, you play players who can push you higher up, i.e. O'Brien at centre back. When your players are tired in the middle of the game, i.e. Eric Boodham, Harrison Armstrong, you take them off instead of leaving them on. And when you've got absolutely no right hand side because you've got a centre back at right back playing in the centre, he's in the centre of the field, and a right midfielder playing on the left hand side, then you bring someone on who's actually going to play on the right hand side. We've got it's not been great, but if Moyes managed it properly, we would have got a win and a draw at least. Probably would have even got 6 points out of them 2 games. But his lineup, his in-game management has been piss poor.
Piss poor. The recruitment is absolutely diabolical. He spunk £45 million on a winger who's 19, who's not ready when we needed instant impact. We spunk money on this German croc who's coming in and he's not good enough for the Preston loanee. He's signed this Asnu guy who can't even get 5 minutes. Our recruitment team, our hang on, sorry boys, I can't hear. Our recruitment team is like an astronomer who turns up trying to find planets with a magnifying glass. I mean, they're just absolutely useless at what they're doing. They couldn't identify anything. I mean, there are kids who play video games who could find us a right back who could get in this team. Corey, you're a very, very good tactician yourself. I think the Friedkin group need big questions asked on that recruitment, and also the fact that they left 5,000 empty seats in the ground today because they insist on every fucking person under the sun having a £35 membership so they can try and double up and resell the tickets through their platform. Scummy, absolutely scummy, and people are going to get pissed off and fed up, and they're just not going to go. Thanks, Mabsy. Okay.
Hi, Mabsy.
Everyone's here. Mabsy, Basil, Stevie. We're all in the same car. We're all going to kill ourselves one by one.
That's got to be the angriest car I have ever seen. I have ever heard about in my life. I'm surprised that car doesn't take off like chitty bang bang based off pure negative energy.
I think, right, that we're being a bit overreactive to the performance tonight. I'm blaming the recruitment and stuff like that. We're in a much better position now than what we was a year ago. You know what I mean?
We haven't spent that 100 million very well, though, have we? Let's be honest. Can we just accept that?
Yeah, but we're not going to be in relegation scrap this season. we're not, we're probably not going to get into Europe, but it's a slow building process. We can't just think that all of a sudden we're going to be top 7 side.
We're very close to it. We were 1 win from 5th, 2 wins from top 4.
Yeah.
It's the problem is when you're your fringe the fringe players. Hi, Jasmine. You okay? No. Okay, I'm gonna have to get off the stream.
Right, okay.
All the best,
Okay,
mate.
sorry. Oh, okay.
Yes. She's
Okay.
feeling about the match as well.
She's fuming. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'll come back in
Go
a
on,
minute.
Go on, mate. That'll be my bed in the living room there. That'll be as Flash will be happy to say. That'll be Laura in the living room waiting to fill me in for swearing so much, mate.
Punched in.
Yeah. She'll probably want to do that for me to make her watch the match.
No, this should be subjected to that.
Oh, mate, honestly, it's the worst thing I could have done to the poor girl. You know what I mean? She actually looks out for Everton scores and results and watches it and stuff like that. Poor girl. Yeah. So, tell you what we're gonna do, mate. What do you think then? Like Ryan said there, what do you think Moyes has to do now to get something from Sunderland, and also does he need drastic changes or anything like that to turn this around? Is this the wheels coming off for our season now? Or is it just a blip? 2 games in quick succession, making it seem a lot worse.
You can't say getting tonked by Brentford 4-2. Oh, Newcastle have just won the game. Harvey Barnes 4-3. You can't say that getting tonked 4-2 at home to Brentford is a blip. Do you know what I mean? We're leaking goals. We're not creating many chances. I obviously, it's glaringly obvious where our weaknesses are. We need a right back who can get forward, get some balls into the box distribution. We need a striker who can score goals, and I think, like Ryan said, we're not far off challenging for a European team if we can get them 2 players in. And I've got this on good authority, right, that Everton, as much as what Moyes said in his press conference, I had a guy in my car the other week who is from Hull. Him and his son, both Everton fans, but he used to work with Angus Kinnear at Leeds, and he's good friends with Angus Kinnear. And apparently, according to this guy, Everton have got a right back and a striker coming in this window.
Have they said if it's on loan or anything like that, or when it's likely to happen?
No, he didn't mention no names. He just said they've got a right back and a striker coming in the January window.
Ashley Young and Callum Wilson.
I'd say Callum Wilson. He still scores goals.
Yeah, do you know what, mate? Do you know what? As a third option, do you know what, mate? Third option till the end of the season, I'd take him. Maybe just coach Tieno Barry a little bit more on the striker role. You know, like what? Maybe just saying, look, this is how physical you've got to be. These are the thresholds that you've got. This is what you'll get away with and stuff. I think something like that would be quite a decent grab.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Hi, mate. We're just saying there, right. Callum Wilson, this window, would you take him?
No, I mean, I don't think it matters who you have up front. I think you could have Erling Haaland and Dixie Dean in a front 2 partnership. I don't think they'd score goals. The problem today was Barry is playing. He was the stick insect up front doing nothing, not putting himself about, not making good runs. The players in front were scared. Our midfield 3 was scared. The only one who looked like they were trying to do something was Irabunum. But everything that comes off is like, half the time he looks like this world beater. He looks like Prime Iniesta. And the rest of the time he looks like Segundo Castillo. You know, there's no kind of middle ground of a level. He's like so hit and miss. James Garner has been off the last 2 games. I would describe it as anonymous, to be honest with you, in both matches, which is so disappointing because he was amazing at Nottingham Forest. And then Harrison Armstrong today, he looked like a bit of a weakling. I mean, I didn't really think he did anything. He didn't contribute going forward. I don't think he really screened the back four that well. I know I'm being hard. We've just drawn at home to Wolves. Wolves have lost every single match. They only picked up 2 points before their last run of fixtures where they won a game against West Ham, who were the worst West Ham team in centuries. They're going to go down at a canter. And United, who were a complete circus. So, in all
Yeah, but
honesty,
they've just had a 3-0 win though, right? They come off the back of 3-0 win. That's not, that's got to give them confidence. You know what I mean?
the players aren't that good. The players 1 to 11. There was no one in that team that I was worried about at any point. They've got a striker up front who looks like a physical threat, but he doesn't look like he's ever going to score a goal. And I think we for some reason we were very reactionary against Brentford, and we've gone, okay, we were wide open against Brentford. Let's play very defensive. I've got no issue with one of our fullbacks tucking in when we haven't got the ball to make sure we've always got at least 3 defenders versus 1 striker and one of the central midfielders sitting. But what I detest is your right winger playing very high and wide on the right, nowhere near in the box when the ball is on the other side, which is what we were doing. He was not getting in the box. It was almost like we were just all bothered about when we lose it more than when we did lose. And then look at the goal. Come on, guys. Look at the goal. What's Tarkowski doing there? Why is Joe O'Brien? Where's the communication? The 4 of them,
It
it's
was
a
like Moses
woeful.
part of the Red Sea, though. It was like the gap that was between the two centre half was massive. A
Yeah.
few of the watchers here are not best pleased with just like an Armstrong off here because
Okay.
I'm with them. I think that Armstrong he run out of steam, but I said to Corey earlier on. I don't think he's physically equipped yet at the moment for the demands of the Premier League. He will get there. You can see that the kid has got talent. You know what I mean? And I think he just needs to like increase his stamina, bulk up a bit, and I think he's going to be an absolute superstar. And I think he
Okay.
done really well
I'll
today.
say that I was maybe a bit harsh, but I have to strip out kind of the context because I'm looking at Premier League elite sports where there is so much at stake. And if this guy we're having to throw him in, whose responsibility is the fact that you've paid 20 million because it's guaranteed unless we get relegated for the Wizard of Oz. We might as well have. Oh my god, I had such a good analogy there. But if we're gonna have this Merlin guy and he doesn't trust him and he brings in this a young lad from Preston, but my criticism on Armstrong was I can't recall anything he did really. I can't remember a key pass or a key defensive action or a key block or a key.
You didn't
I
see
know
him
he's
do you
18,
didn't
so
see
that's
him
why I
do
have to
that
rein it in.
pirouette.
I
Did you
mean,
see him
Yeah.
do that
I
pirouette
j-
and leave 2 players?
he's not someone I'm singling out. I'm more irritated with you. It's not individual. It's like a group mess of. It's there's no individual sort of player. It's just the problem is that team 1 to 11. There's no creativity.
you see,
Um,
this is the one thing that I see, and as I was a bit disappointed with, is just this is to go on your point, right, and also on the Armstrong thing, because what he did was he had the ball and he was part of the reason why Wolves really struggled. They said in the preview that the main thing that's been so good for Wolves this the past run of games is the change in midfield, putting the 3 men in midfield and the energy, and they've been dominating midfield, and that's why Wolves were so poor because that's their main outlet. And Eric Boonen with his energy. Garner, who I don't think was great, but was still screening the second part of the midfield, and then Harrison Armstrong, who'd done the same as Eric Boonen, showing strength, showing energy. He was advancing the ball a lot more. He would turn players around, and we'd go on the attack. And he was doing really a couple of times where we'd do a couple of passes onto the edge of the box, but then we'd lose it because what would happen is that ball would naturally make its way over to the left hand side from Eric Boonen and from Armstrong doing good football. It would naturally make its way over to the left hand side where Grealish is. We'd have 3 or 4 of our best players all in that one area. But Wolves would just double up on all them players on that side, knowing that we had no one on the right-hand side. And that's the main issue. It is tactical, like you said. It's that. And then, like Wes said again, he's good. But while he's here for the next month, we're going to need to coach him through games. Give him 60 minutes, 65 minutes. But then he has to come off because, like I said, he'll be fantastic for them. And he's doing a lot of running around, to be fair to him. It's not as if he's sat there doing nothing. He's running a lot more. He's not conserving energy. which is why he's gassing himself out. But he needs to be looked after, and he needs to be taken off after 60 minutes, after 65 minutes. And we didn't. And their attack come through the midfield, and that's when they started to get a hold of the game because our midfield was tired. They then dominated that midfield, which is which is where they've got all their luck from in the past couple of games, and that's where the goal come from.
See, I thought against Brentford when I watched that game that when he brought Merlin Roll on, I thought that sub should have been Alison Armstrong then, and he brought Merlin Roll is way off the pace. Like we haven't seen the best of that lad because of his injuries and stuff like that. He's way off the pace for the Premier League. Bringing Harrison Armstrong on, fresh legs against Bournemouth. I think we probably still lose the game, but at the same time, I think he would have been a better option to bring on than Merlin Roll. I think for 60 minutes today, I thought Armstrong done good. I think he wasn't spectacular, but for what was expected of him, coming, not really being playing in the Premier League, being playing in the Championship. I think he's done all right. I think it's a bit harsh to sort of slag the lad. I'm not slag him off, but not give him the plaudits that he deserves. Do you want to take yourself out of that other one there, right?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Your phone's still on though.
Oh, I'll boot that one.
There we go.
Let me just zoom out this camera. I'm going to remove the comments on the screen as well. So, but I understand. You're protecting him, so that's fine. He wasn't that bad. But I'm looking at this Everton team, and I'm wondering why we're not doing certain things that make football feel quite attractive. And one of the things that we didn't do today again was we played really slow football. There was no speed in what we were doing. We weren't trying to, and we also weren't trying to switch the play. So maybe when the play was quite congested on one side, why can't we then play in little areas and then switch it over to the other flank, try and isolate Jack Grealish 1v1 with the fullback?
Because we don't have another flank. I'm sorry because I've said it loads of times, but O'Brien at one point was playing central midfield and McNeil was in the number 10 role, closer to Jack Grealish than he was the right-hand side. There was no one to switch it out to. At one point on the halfway line, Grealish did do a boss switch over to O'Brien. And because he's not that kind of player, he took one touch, passed it back to Tarky, got the ball back from him, and then turned round. It took about 5 seconds for what would have been a split movement. By that point, the team gets back into position. We pass it around 2-3 times and then cross-field it again. Without having a right-hand side, there's nothing to do. And again, it's on the manager.
These fullbacks are absolutely killing us. There was one moment where there was really nice speed in the play and the ball goes over to Jake O'Brien and he needs to take a touch on the front foot. He needs to take a touch, control it, bring it down, progress up the pitch. For some reason, his first touch with acres of space is straight back to Tarkowski. Yeah. The crowd are groaning. Everything is trying to slow the game down. If we don't have individual skill, which aside from Jack Grealish in that team, there is no individual quality in terms of there's nothing there that makes you think we're going to score a goal, right? So the only way we're going to score a goal, we're going to out-physical someone, we're going to have brute force, we're going to get balls into the box, we're going to win a lot of duels. We don't have the players to do that. We saw that against Brentford. We're not winning the duels. We're not winning the second balls. We're not covering the ground. So that route sort of goes out the window. So when we're thinking, well, what can we do? Well, we can kind of play with a bit of speed, maybe. We play fast and then we can switch the play and get Jack Grealish 1v1. But for some reason, we're just insistent on, we'll go back. We'll go across the front. We'll go. And it's not going to work. And if I was the coach... We haven't
got the players right. In this team at the moment, we haven't got the technical players in that team to play quick football because they haven't got the passing ability to be able to do it. You see, that when they try to speed things up, they misplace passes. He's got Jack Grealish there, and Jack Grealish is probably the biggest culprit of slowing the play down in the team. He gets on the ball and because of his technical ability, he's constantly looking for a pass. Do you know what I mean? But there's nobody to pass it to apart from Michalenko, who then passes it back to Grealish.
You need a Baines alongside him, and he's never going to be effective without a proper fullback.
It's one-dimensional. That's what it is.
I agree, and a lot of it comes from, again, it's from the defence, because we've got Garner will try and speed the game up. I think Eric Boonham's not good at passing the ball quickly, but he's good at moving the ball. Harrison Armstrong can do it. Grealish, like you said, will slow the game down, but he can do that kind of passing. But again, it comes from the fullbacks not getting high, not getting wide, and not having an outlet to pass to. When Mikalenko gets the ball, he can't do a one-time pass, first-time pass. O'Brien can't really do a first-time pass.
He's so bad.
Tarkovsky can't do that. Keane can't do that. Branthwaite possibly can.
They've got themselves in a right mess for a few reasons. Okay, first of all, Michael Keane. He's your biggest asset, and he's also your biggest enigma. It's almost like when he plays, he might get a goal or he looks comfortable defensively when, the ball's in front of him, unless he's got to run back towards his own goal. But then at the same time, he's also fundamentally your weakling, because the whole team has to adapt to accommodate this guy and his lack of speed. And so when Branthwaite's in the team, the whole team are so much more comfortable defending. He covers that left-hand channel space when Mikalenko gets forward. He can distribute the ball well from the back. He's athletic. He's mobile. He can do everything. So there's no comparison between the two as good as Michael Keane. The brain on him, though, obviously, with the Manchester United incident and today, I'll give you guys the benefit of the doubt with that. I think he's coming down. He's put his arm there because it's probably what you do as a centre-back. You're feeling your opponent. Okay, but we don't need to go there because I'll concede that to you on this one. But then you've got the problem with the contracts of the players. Who the hell is in charge of this department, the commercial and the recruitment and all this sort of stuff? You've got James Garner with a year left on his deal extension. I mean, that's just putting yourself in a mess. But the Mikalenko one is mad. This guy isn't good enough for Premier League starting top 8 levels. He's a very good backup left back. Say we were playing Arsenal away, you need someone who can just shut up shop, maybe do a job on someone and cover for injuries. Fantastic. But he's never going to be a technical fullback who can bomb beyond Jack Grealish, for example, to get the balls into the box, who can be really dynamic, who can win. You know exactly what I'm talking about because the standards have been set so high. Then we've let this contract get into this situation where we don't want to give him a 5-year deal because no fan wants him to be the Everton left back for 5 years as a first choice. But at the same time, he's still a decent footballer. He's probably worth 8 to 10 million pounds. We massively overpaid on him. I can't believe we paid 22 million quid on him. I mean, for God's sake. But he's still a decent footballer. You can't afford to lose him on a free. So what's happening is we either have to sell him in this window or we have to extend the 1-year option and sell him next summer on the cheap and buy a left back. But for me, it's just baffling. And I know you talked about the recruitment not being a problem, but we spent 45 million on Dibbling. We spent 20 million on Merlin Rowe. There's 65 million you committed. There's 8 million on Nazju. That's 72 million. Barry hasn't exactly set the world on fire. He's got 3 goals this season, 2 of them against Nottingham Forest. He's 23, nearly 24. He should be, doing things. There was Samu at Porto who looks like a different kettle of fish. He looks like a beast. You combine that physical side with the speed and the technical quality, and that's what you get. And he was 50 million. We seem to have squandered the money because we were panicking about the amount of numbers we needed. But I would much rather us have gone, right, this summer, we can't get 13 players. We can get him, and him, because these are the standard of player that we need when we're going to be successful. And then we can get him, and him on a free transfer on low wages to supplement the squad because they're not fucking playing anyway. So why do we need to spend 45 million on Tyler Dibbling and 20 million to Merlin Rowe and Asnu? You might as well go and have someone on a free. Or cheap signing and go and get 1 or 2 decent players. If you combine the Barry money and the Beto money, you've got a fucking 60 million pound striker. So for me, it's a mess. I want to ask anyone, by the way, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much.
I would have saying around and for me, if Moyes' plan with Dibbling was to play him, sparingly and very, very sparingly, my thoughts would have been, if you're going to spend 45 million on him, either loan him back to Southampton where he's going to get minutes, or loan him to another club somewhere so he's going to get minutes. Because having him sitting on the bench is doing absolutely nothing for his progression. Absolutely diddly squat shit, you know what I mean?
Need to loan him.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would have done.
He doesn't look like he's got any pace, and I don't know what's the I just I don't get it. I don't get it. If there was £40 million in the kitty, why didn't they think, all right, if we put this £40 million for him and this 30 million that we're going to spend on Barry together, we've got 70 million quid. We can sign anyone. There's not a player we can't get for that kind of money.
Thing is,
We've
though,
tried to spread.
the thing is that we'd be complaining that we didn't have anyone if there was an injury there. That's the one issue, mate, is that we've had so many players out of contract. We've had the great big reset at the end of last season in this summer, and then we've had to do all that work. Now we should have. I'm not denying that we should have done more. There's more players that we should have got. I like Diblin, and I think he's one for the future, and I think he will come good. I genuinely think that what they're going to do is when Grealish finishes the end of his loan,
Yeah.
Njai, if he's still here, will move on to the left, and Diblin will do the fairly Jack Grealish role of out wide, slow the game down, bring players in, and move from there, and let Njai be more direct, but on his preferred left-hand side. So I get what they're doing there, but we've said it a few times. It's not the profile of midfielder that we need. We needed pace. We needed someone out wide who is rapid, even if it's just because if Grealish and Njai are going to be your two first choice wingers, well, that's fine. You want someone who doesn't mind being second string, someone young. That's why they've probably gone for Diblin, because they're not going to get somebody who wants to play first team. They want someone who's going to come in, play second string, and then develop. He's not got as much game time as he should have, but I think it was the wrong profile of striker. We could have gone with someone from the Championship who's absolutely rapid, but still scores goals. Someone
That
who
kid from Leicester.
Fatawi, that's who I wanted in the summer. Thought he would have been absolutely perfect for that. That's it. I mean, there's a lad at Watford. They got him from Bayern Munich in the summer. Nestoria and Kunde. Now he's got about four assists a season, 2 goals. He can take a decent free kick. He's raw, he's inconsistent, but my God, that lad's got pace, power, dribbling. That's the kind of thing you'll probably get him for like 10, 15 mil. That's the kind of
the
kind of player you should be going for. We could have maybe if we'd have smarter, we'd have got him instead of Asnu in the summer. If we'd have smarter, we'd instead of getting Asnu at left back, we'd have got someone like Maxim the Kuiper for an extra 10 million, who Brighton got. Absolutely fantastic. Every single creative metric is ridiculous for this lad. He's just not the best defensively, but he'll go into that. There's a lot to pour. I think what they've tried to do is, and this is what the Free Kings want to do, buy low, develop, and sell on. It's just a case of that would have been great for the team that weren't doing the great big reset in the middle in the season, because we needed players who were willing to come in the first team, improve the first team, yes, which we have, but also players who were going to be in that squad and be able to contribute, because we've lost a lot of squad players, and we were threadbare anyway. We lost a lot of squad players, so we thought we were replacing them with Diblin as a squad player who's barely featured, Asnu as a squad player who's barely featured, Röhl as a squad player who hasn't featured, more so for fitness reasons. So I think they've got their priorities maybe a little bit wrong.
Shall we listen to this David together live? I'll get it up here. I'm just sitting here thinking I can't believe we've got to the 3 wins at home in a brand new ground. We've had 7 matches where we've gone 7 games in this new stadium. We've been battered by Brentford, battered by Newcastle, battered by Spurs.
I said at the beginning of the season that there was a stat that on average a team going into the new stadium loses an extra 6 games a season. So it's not surprising. What is surprising is the performances.
There's no post-match comments. He's like,
I know where you're coming from. I thought that we'd do okay, because I mean, if we're being honest, Goodison Park wasn't exactly great, was it? You know what I mean? In its last few seasons, but you are right, and I think a lot of it again, and I'm beating a dead horse here, but a lot of it comes from the tactics, Wes, because look, the fans cheer the players on, the players cheer the fans on, but if you're sat there watching really defensive football at home, where again, because we're playing Jake O'Brien at right back instead of centre back, we're not playing a right midfielder, because we're so slow with the centre backs, we play really defensive football, we concede everything to the opposition, and I don't mind playing counter-attacking football when you have less possession in the
No,
opposition.
no.
But we're doing it. We're doing it really, really deep, and you can see it when something happens. That stadium is absolutely, it is rocking. It is raucous. I was there. The Grealish winning against Palace. Amazing atmosphere. The atmosphere, to be honest, when Garner got into that spat with, was it Yeremy Pino? The atmosphere was fantastic. When Barry got his first goal against Forest, again, the stadium went mental. The atmosphere was brilliant. When we'd had the 3 goals disallowed against us, against Fulham, you could feel the energy, even though it was somewhat negative. You could feel it was directed towards the officials. You could feel that it was palpable, and that's what we need to feed off. But the tactics that we're deploying at home, completely wrong. They're far too defensive. They work away from home, fantastic. But if you want to commit to playing O'Brien at right back, do play him at right back when you're playing away from home. At home, you need someone who.
But we've run out of bodies, Corey. So that's the only possible answer that I have is that there aren't enough players available.
Up until Brentford, up until today, we were very, very thin on bodies, mainly on the bench, but we still had bodies. We had Patterson, who could have played at right back. Maitland Rowe could have maybe played right back, being a bit more adventurous, which meant O'Brien could have played centre back, which meant then you've got the extra body in Keane on the bench to freshen things up and to take a man off when you're winning. We had an extra midfielder there to change things around against Brentford, but he's gone far. Again, I'm not Moyes out, but the past 2 games. And to be honest, it's been symptomatic on a lot of games. Has been poor, has been very, very poor, and it is because, and it's again at home as well. The energy isn't there, and it's because we go so defensive and we just let teams have all the ball, and then we start getting worries. I mean, just responding to Peter there, the bodies available aren't good enough. I mean, yeah, but the bodies that we've got in at the moment aren't going to be good enough. Then, if you're playing at home. Even if Patterson is nowhere near as good as O'Brien, playing too defensive is clearly having a negative impact. So you just play someone, or Maitland who is just naturally changes the shape. You don't need to be so much better than someone at something, or such a better footballer. But if it just works and the chemistry works, then there you go. Look how successful Pienaar and Baines was. Now, Baines, one of the best left backs of the Premier League era. Pienaar, absolutely fantastic. But Pienaar looked a lot better than he was because of the chemistry that he had with Baines, and he worked so well. There's a reason it didn't work out as well when he went to Spurs, because he was fantastic, but he was nowhere near as good anywhere else than he would have been at us, because it worked perfectly. And it'd be the same for someone like Patterson, who I've said this week he needs to go somewhere else, whether it's to be sold, whether it's a loan. He needs to go to Italy or Spain, somewhere slower where he can find himself again, because he's been mismanaged on his injuries and he's definitely not good enough. But him at right back would have at least changed the shape a little bit, would have been more positive, would have allowed someone like Diblin to drop in a little bit more. It just creates that space.
Because you've got 2 defensive midfielders anyway, so you can afford to have a full. But the problem is we've never really attacked down both sides. We always have a predominant side, and then the other side is kind of like the one which has to, get on the end of the crosses and stuff. There's a lot to talk about, guys, tonight, and I appreciate there's 800 people, 800 of you watching. So big thanks to Corey and Wes for hosting the show and for keeping it going. If you haven't already subscribed and you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button for us. And if you're on X, you could do us a massive favor to help grow this channel. Go over to YouTube, search for Follow Everton, and hit the subscribe button. David Moyes apparently said it was not violent, it was not deliberate, and it was not a red card. The football wider community are generally mixed, but I think that a lot of big accounts are saying that it was the worst red card decision I've ever seen. It will be rescinded. Others are saying it's violent conduct. I think for me, it comes down to intent. If Michael Keane intends to pull on him, then he's an idiot. You're pulling on the guy's hair. You're doing something completely wrong. I think if it's an accidental thing, because to me it looks like he jumps. And then where his natural position, you need to keep watching it. But I get it. And then it's like the hold. And then he lets go.
Have you watched the replay back though, right?
I've watched it over and over again because of the jump and the where he would put his arm on his back. But then he holds on to the fucking ponytail and then he lets go really quick. But David Moyes, he said it's not violent, it's not forceful, it's not deliberate.
Well, I think if if he doesn't pull his hair back and pull his head back, the guy's winning the header. I think that I don't know what you think, Corey. I think that guy, if he doesn't pull his hair and,
Yeah.
and his head comes back like that, I think that guy's winning the header. And Michael
it-
Keane wins the header because he did that.
It's not aggressive and it's not intent to harm, but it's intentional. It's intentional. It's a sport and action to win an advantage, but he's pulled his hair.
There's a worse challenge on the back of Harrison Armstrong from Kung Chan.
Hungry Chan.
Rakes
Yeah,
down the
and,
back of his
he got a
leg. I'm
yellow
just
for that.
looking at it now. It's worse than.
But he got a yellow
And-
card for that.
and do you know what, mate?
How's that not
it.
violent conduct if you're touching your fucking ponytail?
But
And why have you got a fucking
It
ponytail in
wouldn't
the
be
first
violent
place?
conduct. It'd be a dangerous tackle, not violent conduct. And they're probably just not deeming it that dangerous tackle. Which, don't get me wrong, mate, I'm surprised why that wasn't looked at more by VAR. I'm surprised why that wasn't. But
Fulham beat
that is
Chelsea.
such a
I mean,
minor
you can't
thing
laugh at this.
in the scope of how much of a shit show this game was.
Fulham
I'm
beat
never going to grow
Chelsea.
it. I'm never
What was
going to
the-
grow a ponytail, so I'm all right.
I don't even want to know what the fucking scores were.
Man United drew. Newcastle won 4-3 with pretty much the last kick of the game. Brentford won 3-0, I think, against Sunderland. Man City drew. Man City handing Arsenal the league as we speak.
Yeah. The
As long as
league's
it's not-
bored. This league
long as
is
it's not
just
them lot.
completely boring. I'm
They'll
just
beat the
bored.
shite tomorrow. No danger. But anyway, I've got to go, boys, because it's way past my bedtime.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can cancel the game on Sunday? I've got to be honest with you. I really cannot be
Saturday.
bothered with it.
See it's
Saturday?
sooner than that, mate.
Grealish
Quarter
is allowed
past
to
12
play.
on a Saturday.
Grealish is allowed to play because it wasn't violent conduct. Whereas
Really,
Michael
I
Keane's
thought
not.
I thought all suspensions were carried through domestically, regardless if it was straight red or not. I'm pretty
No.
sure you get a suspension in English game, it carries across all
Not
professional
according to
competition.
ChatGPT, anyway.
Is it?
Yeah, not.
Where's your old chat?
Do you mean
Jack-
Jack GPT?
Jack GPT. Yeah.
That is way the game.
I googled it straight. Well, went on ChatGPT and they said there's only biting, violent conduct, basically really bad stuff that if you get a red card in the Premier League, it carries over into the FA Cup. But Jack Grealish was obviously just petulance. So I think, as far as I'm aware, according to Jack GPT, he'll be allowed to play.
I think
kind
fingers
of-
crossed we need him. Otherwise, it'd be Braden Gray on the left wing.
It might play into our favour because obviously now Jake O'Brien's got to go in at right back, at centre half rather than playing at right back. So maybe Patterson might play. Maybe he might play James Garner at right back, but then you weaken your midfield then unless he puts Alisson Armstrong and Erabunam in the centre mid.
Maybe the game gets called off. Meant to be heavy snow tomorrow night. So fingers
got
crossed
called
that
off
carries on.
tonight.
If that carries on through
Saturday.
Friday to Saturday, the game gets called off.
I was desperate for this game to get called off, to be honest with you. Where are the injured players? So today's the 7th of Jan. We play Sunderland, and then who do we play after that?
Aston Villa about 2
Aston
weeks
Villa.
later.
So we're just going to scrump down the league, aren't we? Probably to 15th, 16th, 17th again.
I think that's what we thought was going to happen anyway. I think the Forest result was a bonus. I think we all thought that we was getting nothing out of that game. But obviously we got the 3 points, and I celebrated like mad in the Turnmill in New York. And I think everyone thought we was going to get 3 points tonight. Clearly didn't. Everyone thought we was going to probably get 3 points against Brentford, and we
be
didn't.
comfortable tonight.
So I think it was kind of to be expected with the loss of KDH, the loss of NGI, the loss of Garner Gay, that we was going to start slipping down the league. And then maybe when we get all them back, we might start climbing back up the league. And we get
Yeah,
maybe
but all
get
the
a few
winnable
in.
games have gone.
All games are winnable.
We got
You know what I mean?
Newcastle away. You got City at home, Liverpool at home, Chelsea at home. You know, I'm looking at the winnable games like that. It's like your Brentfords, Your Tottenham's at home. Your Brentford's at home. Your Wolves is at home. Your West Ham's at home. We've absolutely scrumped this, and it's
I
like,
mean,
and I've got to be honest, the atmosphere in that new stadium is just, it's like so bad. Before the game, people are like, they're like, we're just here because we're here, kind of thing. It's like we can't get up for it. We're not excited. We're not inspired. We're not. It's like no one can be asked. No one
We
can be
don't want it
asked
to get. We don't want it to get like them gobshites over the park where it's just the tourists who go there and sit there in silence taking photographs.
We do. My stand, the West Stand. It's like a library. No one opens their mouth.
It's gonna take a while for it to sort of, and like Corey said before, Goodison was like a library sometimes, right? You know what I mean? The only time it got sort of like a bit boisterous was when the fans were getting on the fucking players' backs.
Yeah, we are better away from home. So I don't know where we go from here now.
Bed for me.
I don't know. I just really can't be asked. I'm surprised anyone can be asked. 800 of you watching. Oh my god,
Yeah,
Corey,
I mean
amazing
the
as well.
response has been brilliant. Fair play to the followers.
This is when
Like and subscribe.
This is when we get our most watchers. We all just love a hate watch, but it's just like therapy, innit? You know what I mean? When we win, we don't get as many as we do when we lose.
We are psychologists and counsellors and all. People vent.
Has the 1 point done anything for us?
No, I haven't.
I don't think so, because the teams below us have done better, and that I've performed well, and teams. I guess we're a point away from Leeds. Extra.
What?
We're a point extra away from Leeds.
Oh my god, our form is horrible. In the last 6 games, we've lost 3 and drawn 2 and won 1. It's horrible form.
And we drew to Wolves and do you know what? If that Burnley one and that Wolves one are turned into wins, that's respectable. That's middle of the table stuff. If we get the win if we get a point or even a win against Brentford, which we should have,
be in the top 4.
We'd have been absolutely flying. So what I would say is, it does look bleak, and I myself I'm feeling the same. But it's the way this league has changed. Even after the Brentford game, we were all reeling. But if we'd have won tonight, we'd have gone back up towards 5th. So it's still so tight. Yeah, we're getting close to the bottom now. But 1 or 2 games changes things. Yes, the upcoming run is not looking great. Villa's going to be difficult. But Brighton, a team that can be got at. Brighton are the team that can be beaten. Leeds at home, definitely. Leeds away from home and Leeds at home are completely different. The fact we got one of them on the first game of the season, Monday night, was the Premier League just going, you know what, big, massive, fuck you, Everton. Because that was written in the stars that was going to happen.
Yeah.
You knew it. So
these night games are crap. We've been
the only thing with Leeds at home is, if we allow Leeds to come in and we play the same as we have done, we do the same lineup, O'Brien at right back, Crab at centre back,
we'll get beat.
No right midfield, which, to be fair, Njai should be back by then. But if we go that defensive and we let Leeds build up and they get momentum, they'll steamroll us when they come. We need. The only thing that sorts it out for me, and this would work. I think this is going to work. You play more at home. Play more positive. Play someone on the wing back who's going to go forward. Who's going to add natural width. Someone with pace in the centre. Whether Branswaite's back, whether it's O'Brien. Play higher up, and then if the game's not working, change it around the 60th minute. You've always got to make a sub on the hour mark. Keep things fresh. Do that. You're going to stop teams from getting a foothold in the game at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. The fans will get on side, and you will get more points. You will get way more points. We're far too defensive, and it's on the manager.
I'm looking at the upcoming games. I agree with you. You can't have the back 4 we've got and then 2 defensive midfielders in there. There's no way to progress the ball. The only way this would work is if we had 2 rapid wingers with lightning pace who are unpredictable, could beat you 1v1 and just stick it on a plate for your centre forward every time. And your centre forward's a monster. He isn't a monster. And your wingers are useless. And your fullbacks.
We're not going to get that in January.
No, I'm not saying we will get that. But that's how we would work if you had a very defensive back 4 and 2 defensive midfielders, because you're relying on your 2 wingers and your centre forward. We don't have that, so we need to find another way of getting results. What we'll say is, I'm looking at the upcoming games. You've got Aston Villa on the 18th of Jan. If we can somehow do something against Sunderland in the Cup, I expect us to get knocked off. We play Aston Villa in the next match, 18th of Jan. Dewsbury Hall, Jared Branthwaite should be back for these games.
Jared Branthwaite, I seen a post the other day, and some fella bumped into Jared Branthwaite in Formby somewhere, and he told him 2 weeks. He's 2 weeks away.
He's back on the grass, isn't he?
I think that based on what we've been told previously, I think Branthwaite may be in the squad for the Villa game, but I personally think he misses that and he's back at the end of the month. He's back for the Leeds game. Is it Leeds or Brighton at the end of the month?
We've got Leeds and Brighton.
But we can't. The thing is, we can't have our best centre half. We can't have our best centre half at the start of every season missing 4 or 5 months of the season. Do you know what I mean? Because it happened last season. He missed a massive chunk at the beginning of the season.
To be fair, he did miss like 4 games, but then after that, it was Dyche wouldn't play him. Dyche wouldn't play him until Keane had a howler against Villa. We conceded 4, and then after that, Dyche then decided to put Branthwaite in, and we got a decent bit of form. Our defense completely changed.
Did he leave him on the bench? Did he? Sorry.
Yeah, he wasn't playing him. He played
he was playing Michael Keane. Everybody remember he was on the streams going, "Why?"
We were all fuming. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, why isn't he playing? Why is he playing Michael Keane? He's terrible and this, that, and the other. And like you say, fair enough to Michael Keane. He came in place of him start the season, and for the majority of it, he's done brilliant. But the last couple of games, he's been way off it. Still the best finisher at the club.
The next 4 games: Villa, Leeds, Brighton, Fulham. But Bournemouth. I'm not looking at them thinking, "Oh my God, we're going to get battered in all these games." I'm thinking, when are our players coming back? If you give me Njai back on the 18th of Jan, Dewsbury Hall. If you give me Branthwaite, we're winning some of these games.
Njai doesn't come back until the 19th. Well, till the 20th. If Senegal make it to the final of the AFCON, I think the final's the 18th. Now, you've got a game on Friday, I think it is, against Mali.
Isn't it?
Is it against Mali? I think it is in the quarters.
Yeah.
They will win that. They will win that game. They will go through to the semi-finals, which is Tuesday or Wednesday next week. At which case they will play either, I think it's Egypt or the Ivory Coast. And that's where it gets tricky. I think they beat Egypt. I think Ivory Coast, sorry to fix me here. I think Ivory Coast give them a good game. But I'd say Senegal still look very, very good.
If they get to the final, it doesn't matter whether they win or lose, obviously.
The finals on the 19th. But I'll be massively shocked. I'll be massively surprised if they lose on Friday. And then when it comes to the semi-final, look, I think Egypt played Ivory Coast. I think Ivory Coast beat Egypt. I know this is going to be turned into an AFCON stream. Let's not go with it. But Ivory Coast beat Egypt on Saturday. And then when it comes to Ivory Coast versus Senegal on the Tuesday, I think it is, or the Wednesday, that's when they could get knocked out. But that is it. They make it to at least the semi-finals in my mind. So which means he will be back for Aston Villa. But if not, if they make it to the final, he won't be back for Aston Villa. And to be fair, he didn't play the last game because he got injured in the game before, so he was kept on the bench as a precaution.
I think if we got a point at Villa, and then we go into that Leeds game with Dewsbury Hall and Jai and Branthwaite all available into this group, I'm not so bothered for Charlie Alcaraz. He hasn't scored or assisted all season, I don't think. I'm confident, we're going a good run. Okay. I can't remember who else is injured. It feels like we've got tons of players out, but actually we probably haven't got that big of a squad.
So Idrissa Gana Gueye, Iliman Ndiaye at the AFCON. Keane and Dewsbury Hall injured. We've not seen anything of him, so I don't think he's back till the end of the month, if not February. Branthwaite, I think, will be back for either Leeds or Brighton. And then we've got Alcaraz, who I think will be back for the Villa game. We're seeing him tonight where he was at the game. He was sat in the bench, but he wasn't on the bench itself, but he was in Everton gear. So I think he's probably very, very close. I think he'll be back on the bench, most likely for the Villa game. Okay. And then after that, in terms of defence, Seamus Coleman's injured. That is it for the defence. Midfield, we're not missing anyone else other than Dewsbury Hall and Idrissa Gana Gueye. And that is it. We've got a really small squad. We have the and it's
we're missing
our main player in Iliman Ndiaye is out. That's the main one, Iliman Ndiaye. I think Eric Boonham and Garner have done decent in Gueye's absence. The main one is Iliman Ndiaye out wide. We've got no right hand side, and teams know that they can just double up on the left now. They were doing that anyway, and
we've got no right back either.
Individual ability, but now we don't even have that.
well, we got no right back, so something's got to give. It's going to be Nathan Patterson now. He's going to get his chance, and Jake O'Brien's going to go to centre back, which is what we did at Bournemouth, and we actually got a clean sheet and won, which is what pissed everyone off, didn't it? So
Forest as well.
Forest. So he's got to change it. I like Garner. I don't like Jake O'Brien at right back. Every time he plays at right back, we're rubbish. It doesn't matter whether we're home or away.
It's good away from home when we're trying to be a bit more defensive, but when we're at home and we need to get the crowd on side, he shouldn't be playing. He shouldn't be playing right back. Should be playing centre back with his pace higher up. Like I was saying to Wes and the stream earlier, you have a stopper, you have a coverer. You've got two stoppers when it's Keane and Tarkovsky. You play dead deep. If you have a stopper and a coverer, it allows you to play higher up the pitch.
This stream could go on like we'll wrap it up. Tarky's getting bullied in a lot of the games by strikers. Moyes is hanging the strikers out to dry. They're not getting a sniff. The fullbacks are a bit of a nightmare. But we are missing. Branthwaite would start. Garner would start. Njai would start. And Dewsbury Hall would start. So is that 4 who instantly go into the team? Look, I can't make excuses. I'm sick of it. Boys, let's wrap this show up. Thank you so much for doing an amazing stream.
Been a long one.
Yeah. I want to say, join us on
Thanks,
Friday for the preview for Sunderland if you're there. And join us. I think it's me and Mabsy, right? If you're free, or Wes, if you want to join us on Monday, I think me and Mabsy are going to try and do a just a transfer special, just talking about mainly right backs, maybe some left backs, striker and winger talk, but mainly the right backs available to us, ones we've been linked with and ones that I think we should personally go for. So join us if you want to rant, if you've got any right backs in mind. Let us know on Twitter. Let us know on the preview on Friday as well. Anyone you want us to talk about or anything like that. But me and Mabsy will be going over that, discussing that on Monday. And Rai, Wes, if you want to join us, feel free. So yeah, and apart from that,
question.
Yes,
Moyes in or out?
Moyes in. We're doing much better than last season. But this isn't the first time this season. This is probably the second or third time where he's massively frustrating us, and we know what needs to be done to sort it. And when he has changed it to what the fans, because fans aren't stupid. I'm not talking just me. I'm talking in general. We're talking. Remember when we had Dewsbury Hall in the number 10 role, and we said play him a little bit deeper, and we can have players going forward. And we played Alcaraz, and we were doing so well. It's the same scenario there, but this time it's regarding centre back, right midfield. It's the same scenario, so it's frustrating, and I'm angry, and I'm absolutely fuming. I've slagged him off for the past week, David Moyes, deservedly so. But I'm still Moyes in because we're doing a lot better than we were previously, and we look a lot better. There's just massive issues that he needs to get his head out of his own ass.
Right, thanks. I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's the James Garner to right back and O'Brien not a right back is the new Dewsbury Hall should be playing as a number 8.
Yeah.
It's the new enigma of Moyes pissing us off.
Yeah.
Take care, lads.
Take care. I'm going to go down a full can of squirty cream.
By the way, I had a toffee donut today. I was that depressed, and it was awful. So sick.
It's proper.
Did you say hello now?
I feel sick. I had to take a mortgage out. I had to remortgage the house to pay for it. £6.50.
I thought I was going to get pulled over driving home. My eyes were pinging because of the sugar.
The toffee donuts are actually more valuable than the ticket. You couldn't give it away for today.
It's £2.50 at Goodison.
It's £7 now. Up the top.